All right, welcome back to another episode of Connections, the Heart of Early Childhood podcast. My name is Misty Hunter,
And I'm Shara Foster.
and we have the opportunity to sit down today with Angelica Farisian, Jimmy Della Riva, and Brittany Anderson, three of our amazing early childhood instructional coaches with some different levels of experience in training, as well as implementation of practice-based coaching. So, without further ado, welcome Angelica, Jimmy, and Brittany. We're so happy to have you here with us today. And I'm going to ask Angelica to start us off by telling us a little about yourself and how you became involved in practice-based coaching.
Thank you so much for inviting me to be a guest. I started out in a kinder classroom for 1 year, and then I was in a first grade classroom for 11 years. And then I've been with CREC for, since January of 2023. And when I was a first grade teacher, I took the letters training, the letters course, and I absolutely loved it. Like the why behind literacy instruction, and I absolutely fell in love with it. And I got a reading endorsement. And then I just looked to see what was out there that I could use this information that I had, and I became an ESIC.
I love that. So your passion for learning and your passion for spreading that learning and helping other adults has really inspired you to get into coaching. Is kind of what I'm hearing.
Yes, exactly.
Awesome. I love that. I love that. I think as teachers, we're always teachers, and it's really cool to kind of expand beyond our littles and our youth and working with them into impacting the leadership adult community that's what we're working with now. So cool. We are so thankful that you're part of our team. How about you, Jimmy?
So I have been teaching for 25 years, most of those in kindergarten and pre-K. And when I was teaching, I often had the role as a mentor teacher, especially my last, I would say, 15 years. And I was also very fortunate to have really good coaches through this whole coaching process that would challenge me to do better, to be better. And now I'm here and I get to do the same thing for the teachers that I'm coaching.
I love that. That's fantastic. And I have to say, as your last coach, myself, I'm really happy for that shout out. I'm going to go ahead and name myself that I, Misty, was your coach and inspired you. No. So anyhow, no, I'm very thankful that you're here. And I love that background as a mentor teacher because you're absolutely right that helping those in your building and those in your community through like PLCs and groups, peer teachers and things like that is definitely kind of stepping your toes into the pond of coaching and then moving beyond that to spreading that throughout New Mexico. So cool. Thank you so much. We appreciate you, Jimmy. Thanks for being here. All right, Brittany, how about you?
Hi there. My name is Brittany Anderson, and this would be about my 15th year in education. I worked from Head Starts to the public sector and then into the private sector. And I've always been passionate about early childhood and supporting both children and the educators who shape their learning. I became involved as a early childhood interventionist coach because the PBC model, it just resonated with me because it's relationship based. And what a wonderful way for teachers to collaborate with coaches because we've also had experience in the classroom. I love that it involves reflection and you can really see the changes in practice and you see it happen right in the classroom.
That is awesome. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that with us. I love that you come to us from a background of Head Start, public school, and private school. That gives you a diverse perspective to share when you're coaching. So that's not something that all of us come with. So that's invaluable for sure for our team. And then also the practice-based coaching is that partnership-based relationship building, connecting with adults. And that is super important. That is one of our cornerstones. So thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. We are so thankful to have you as well. Thankful to have all three of you for sure.
Absolutely. All right, our next question. For listeners who may be new to practice-based coaching, how would you describe it in simple terms? Angelica, we'll start with you. What are your thoughts?
So to me, practice-based coaching is a supportive process where the coach and the teacher are working together and they're creating goals and implementing goals and reflecting on those goals so they could celebrate those wins and see what might be an area for growth. Like how can they improve? And it's not like evaluative. We're not judging them. We're there to support them along their way and help them turn those goals into practices that they just start to do naturally.
Absolutely. That collaborative partnership is so important. Thank you. Okay, Jimmy, what do you want to share? How would you describe practice-based coaching in simple terms for those new to it?
All right. So since I am new to coaching as well, I think the biggest thing for me, just putting it simply, is that I'm excited to create like those supportive partnerships, like Angelica was saying. Just getting to work and create those partnerships with the teachers and work together to help children learn and thrive. I think that's what it's all about for me.
Absolutely. I love that, and I agree. Brittany, how about you?
Well, I think they've kind of touched on everything I was going to touch on, but just that it is a partnership between the teacher and the coach where we do work together towards a shared goal. And I think it's important to mention, it's not an evaluation. It's not about checking those boxes. It's really about continuous improvement, helping teachers build on their strengths and making small intentional adjustments that lead to big impacts on the children's learning.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All righty. So this time we'll go backwards through the order so that Brittany can go first. So, but here's our question. So can you share an example of a breakthrough moment you've seen in a coaching partnership? Or, because I know we've got Jimmy and Brittany here who are new to this, maybe an aha you've experienced as you've learned more about PBC through your observations of other coaches or through your learning that you've had of practice-based coaching. So we'll go Brittany.
Sure. Yeah. Like Misty was saying, I haven't really had the opportunity to coach a ton. I've got a few under my belt. But as I've really had the opportunity to do numerous PBC trainings as well as read through the books, I think just realizing how powerful reflection can be, whether it is in a coaching capacity or on the other side, a teacher, or just in your general life, just looking back and reflecting on areas that you can maybe try a different strategy or just tweak something a little bit that maybe you wouldn't have thought about before. So I think it's just that mind shift change. It's kind of, it's not being told what to do. It's just discovering what works best. And I find that to be inspiring.
Absolutely. Thank you, Brittany. Thank you so much. I kind of characterize myself as a highly reflective person before I came to this job. And then through my learning of practice-based coaching and engaging in the cycles with my teachers has really helped me grow as a person. I thought I was highly reflective before. Now I have some structure to my reflection. And PBC has kind of provided that for me. And that's kind of what, when you were talking, that's what that made me think about. And so it's that intentionality of guidelines and structure that PBC provides us to kind of work within and really make some strides. So very cool. Thank you for sharing. All right, Jimmy.
Okay, so this is a big one for me, and I didn't see this coming the other day. So it was during my third coaching session that I've ever had. Was a teacher that's new to the coaching process, but not new to teaching. So she was kind of leaning back in her chair, very relaxed, and all of a sudden she said, that our conversations and this whole process of goal setting didn't feel overwhelming to her. Instead, she felt really encouraged and supported. And so I got very emotional during this because I felt like this kind of had backing to why I feel like this is kind of where I need to be. This is where I belong now after coaching, after teaching for so long. So it was very encouraging. Yeah, just an emotional and exciting moment for me.
I love that. Oh my goodness. And on this, since there's no video, you can't see Shara set up her hearts and her love. Both of us just love that. All of us on the show right now. That is amazing. There are moments like that, and there are moments that will come up where it just tugs at your heartstrings. And the for being in a position to help a teacher truly feel supported and truly feel successful and be able to celebrate their successes. So many teachers feel inadequate, or they feel like what they do isn't enough, or they should do more, or they should do different. that can be so stressful and so dehumanizing to a point. And so to be able to work in a model and in a structure that provides the space for teachers to feel supported and to celebrate that love and that success is it's cool to be part of. So thank you for sharing that story. I love it. All right, Angelica.
So I've been lucky to have a few breakthrough moments, but one that I'm picturing in my head is a teacher who was struggling with the writing process, and I introduced the picture story, word story to her, and she just absolutely loved it, and her focus observation was amazing, and that was just her favorite, and she was so excited because the kids were so excited, and it was just like a great big wow for me. And I was so excited because she was so excited. And then there was another teacher who I had a meeting with this week or last week, and another coach was able to shadow me. And it's a teacher that I've been working with for a while. And so we already have that collaborative partnership. And the meeting was just so smooth. It was like one of my favorite meetings, and I was happy that the other coach was able to see that, because then she was able to see not just the first meeting, but she was able to see what coaching can look like after those collaborative partnerships have been built. And it was just one of my favorite meetings. And I even messaged the teacher. I said that was my favorite, and she said me too. But it was a an exciting moment for me.
I love that. I love that. Thank you for sharing. And that's a big piece of coaching, that at the beginning when you're just getting to know each other, you're still building that trust and that partnership. And so the meeting may will feel a little bit different at first, and then grow over time. And so that is super exciting. But I want to jump back to what you said about the picture story, word story, because one thing with that is really showing our opportunities that we have for professional learning through CREC. We have one called Becoming a Writer. And we as coaches learn as well as we become facilitators of these trainings. And then our teachers come to these trainings as well and learn these things. And then we support the implementation of that professional learning through our coaching. And so having that opportunity to take the professional learning, use it as a resource and a point of conversation in a coaching meeting, and then see that success on the other end really leads in to our next question. So thank you for sharing that.
And thank you, Misty, for that awesome segue. So please share with us, how do you or how will you measure or recognize growth within the PBC process? Or even share with us one message that you'd love every teacher to take away about coaching and growth. And I'm going to really mix things up, and I'm going to start with Jimmy.
Okay. I think one of the things that I would love for every teacher to take away from the coaching relationship, and Misty, thank you for creating that relationship with me when you were my coach, is that just within the coaching process, that it's a safe, supportive space for honest reflection and growth. And that's, I think, what it all comes down to for me. I just want the teachers and myself to feel like it's a space for us to both grow.
Absolutely. I love that and agree 100%. Okay, Brittany, what are your thoughts?
Sure. So I'm sorry, I'm rereading the message, the questions. One message that I'd love for each teacher to take away about coaching and or growth is that not only in PBC, but in life, that growth isn't always linear. I think sometimes when we think of growth, we just think of it as, going up a tall hill, or always remembering though that growth, will have its valleys as well. So I think it's just important for teachers to remember that as coaches, that's something we embrace. Sometimes you'll make big strides, and other times progress will just feel slower, or it feels like taking a step backwards. But yeah, just that teachers know that growth is a process, not perfection, and every small step matters.
Oh, absolutely. And I love how you're reminding everybody it is a process. And I think as I'm going to call myself a seasoned coach because I'm in my second year now, but even remembering, yeah, to break down those goals that we're creating with our teachers and, make it more achievable and chunk it. And just remembering small steps are important to big growth. So thank you so much for sharing. All right, Angelica, your turn.
So I think measuring growth isn't like 2-week increments. It's how the teacher feels about the practice, how successful that they feel, and how much they want to continue to work on it until it becomes like natural practice for them to implement. So it's not like 2 weeks and you're done. Like you can continue working on this practice until you feel like you have the support and the resources you need to continue to implement those practices.
Absolutely. That constant progress is the most meaningful. Thank you.
All righty, so we're wrapping up here, and I want us to think about looking ahead. So the next question, or the last question actually, what advice would you give to either new coaches or new teachers just starting with the PBC model? So we're going to start with Brittany.
Sure. So being a new coach myself, I think it's just important to remember that a vital part of the PBC model is making sure that there's trust, as well as keeping in the back of your mind the little saying of grace upon grace. I truly believe that coaching will only work when your teachers feel safe and that it's a spot where they can be open about their practice. Be patient always. Celebrate, even the smallest wins, and just remember that we're all learning.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Fabulous. Okay, Jimmy.
Brittany, you said that wonderfully. I really appreciate everything you said because kind of the same thing, that just the whole idea of giving yourself grace, not being afraid to ask the questions, not being afraid to make the mistakes, and just being comfortable and safe in the space.
Thank you. I completely agree. Completely. Angelica.
Same, well spoken. Trust and collaboration is super important because once you have that trust and collaboration, then it's easy to feel safe to reflect and to make those changes and to ask for help and support. And that those relationships will grow as time goes on. And it's not going to be perfect, but the support that you're providing your teachers is invaluable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So all three of you guys mentioned safety and trust and vulnerability. And that's such great advice to give to new coaches and teachers, but it's huge, right? Those are huge things to feel. A lot of us have a lot of barriers, a lot of walls built up. And so we've got to work hard towards building that trust and that vulnerability. And I kind of urge all of us, not just here today, but whoever's listening also, to think about a time that you've experienced positive growth. What conditions were created for you to help you engage in that process and feel empowered and supported and have a positive outcome on the other end of it? What were the conditions created for you? Because those are the conditions we want to try to recreate for others. So I just want to thank you guys so much for joining us today and sharing your perspectives on, it got so much deeper, I think, than just PBC. I mean, we talked about some big life things here as well. I feel truly blessed and honored to have been able to be here with you guys and engage in this conversation. And for our listeners, we definitely hope that you tune in next time and see what we have in store for you. I promise you it's going to be just as great as this one was. All right, thanks.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.